Welcome back, FLR community. I hope you're all well and having an incredible day as always. I certainly am. It's an absolutely historical moment for everyone that's been waiting for the launch of F Assets, because it has finally arrived after years of waiting, years of building all of these various components of the network to get this across the line, and today is the day, and we've seen absolutely huge demand. What's going on, everyone in the chat? Very nice to see you. And in this stream, we're going to be basically recapping all of the news that's come out today. And at the end, we're going to have maybe a little bit of a Q&A, so you can post some questions in the chat and I'll get to them at the end. But first, we're starting with the big news. Obviously, yes, for over a decade, XRP has powered fast and efficient settlement at scale. XRP on FLR extends that strength to composability, opening new growth opportunities. XRP as collateral, liquidity, and yield in decentralized finance, or DeFi. Yes, we can now mint our FXRP. You can bring XRP from the XRP ledger over to the FLR network and unlock a lot of utility. Now, a lot of people ask, why would you want to do this? Well, the FLR network is already a very established network. It has a host of decentralized applications that you can use your FXRP in instantaneously. We're going to be covering some of these in just a moment. So please just put your sunglasses on, because this website doesn't have a dark mode. You have been warned. This is the F Asset portal here. Wow, pretty bright. I guess it is a sunny day for us with all of this exciting news, but this is what the portal looks like. So some of you may have minted already. Some of you may have temporarily missed out. There is a bit of a cap on this at the minute, just for security purposes, and it's very responsible, I must say. But we're going to talk about that in just a moment. As you can see, 5 million lots, or 5 million XRP in total, has been minted, and that has a value of $14.85 million. All of that has come over to the FLR network, and this signifies huge demand. And this was actually within the space of, I believe, under 4 hours. Absolutely crazy. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Something that I will say just right off the bat here, you go to this page. This is fassets.au.cc. Scroll right to the bottom and you're going to see all of these different opportunities where you can actually use your XRP. So it's not just sitting there in your wallet. There are actually opportunities where you can start earning yield right away. And this is not just yield provided from the protocol itself. It's also incentivized by the FLR team through the FLR incentive program, Reward FLR. I've got plenty of videos on that. You can find them in the channel. Just search for Reward FLR. Right, moving on here. Yes, F Assets minting cap has been reached. 5 million XRP brought over to the FLR network in under 4 hours. Now, I was listening into a space earlier where Hugo was speaking, and he did say that the cap is extending in about 1 week, if I'm not mistaken. So all is not lost, and one of the important things that he did mention is that the price of FXRP on decentralized exchanges like BlazeSwap, like Anosis, like SparkDex, it may become out of sync with XRP. And the reason why is because there may be a higher demand from that than what is available. Everyone wants FXRP right now because this is offering a yield on the FLR network. This is the reason why people would want to bring it over, right? You have XRP on the XRP ledger sitting there, and you have FXRP, which is obviously tied one-to-one, but the FXRP can earn you a yield by participating in these various decentralized applications. So some people may be willing to pay a small premium to get access to that yield. But I will say, don't get too excited and don't stray too far from the fundamental value. Those who already have this XRP may be looking to arbitrage. So if the price deviates too much, those already holding XRP, and likely programmatic bots will already be doing this on the fly, selling their XRP to keep that price in sync. Right, moving along here, we've got this from ZaoDao, which I think was worth mentioning. The first decentralized autonomous organization, that's a DAO, for the XRP ledger. Now, they've announced that they have chosen the FLR network's FTSO, this is the FLR time series oracle, as its primary oracle for price feeds related to XRP memberships. So congratulations to the FLR networks team and community for the launch of F assets. Now, the reason that they may want to introduce this functionality, the FTSO, the FLR time series oracle, is to allow for dynamic pricing. So membership for the ZaoDao is actually a fixed USD value, and what the FLR time series oracle allows is real-time data that the price in a certain asset, whether that's XRP or FLR, can actually vary depending on the value that it is. And I introduced this actually for the very first person to utilize the FTSO in this way with dynamic NFTs, where you can actually pay a fixed value in USD denominated value, and the price of FLR is fluctuating. So great to see more people adopting this technology and utilizing it for what it's worth. We've got this from Enosis here, one of the DeFi platforms. At long last, the wait is over. FXRP is here. We have already deployed a new incentive liquidity pool on the decentralized exchange V3, that's concentrated liquidity, supporting FXRP. So, as I said, put your sunglasses on really quick. At the bottom here, these are all the applications that are actually supporting these rewards and integrating the FXRP asset that you can now use, right? So what can you do with it on Enosis? You can utilize it with the Helion Per and the Apsis Per, which is both of these are native governance tokens of the Enosis platform that basically reward you from the fees generated from all of the different suite of products that they offer. They also have pools for FXRP and wrapped FLR, and also XRP and USDT 0. And you're going to see a current theme about this. This one is incentivized with RFLR rewards, and these are incentivized with Apsis. So you're going to see a common theme here where a lot of these protocols are incentivizing this type of liquidity, FXRP to a stablecoin, specifically USDT 0. Right, we've got this from Flamix, which is recently launched perpetual exchange with crazy leverage. So XRP is live on the FLR networks, as we know, and Flamix is ready from minute one. You can trade Bitcoin, or the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more with up to 500x leverage. Definitely not recommended. Use FXRP as collateral with zero volatility and liquidation risk. Access global markets without having to sell XRP. So this is something interesting to consider if you are into degen gambling and going crazy, or if you like to go to the casino. This could be your place or your home. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend leverage for most people. And even if you do dabble in leverage, keep it to a minimum, 2x, 3x maximum. Another application that is supporting the rollout of FXRP is BlazeSwap. This is a traditional V2 exchange, meaning it's not concentrated liquidity. So the slippage for certain amounts is greater actually, which is obviously a bad thing, than the concentrated liquidity equivalents, right? So BlazeSwap are excited to announce that starting today, liquidity providers in the FXRP and USDT 0 pool are eligible for RFLR incentives. And this comes on top of the swap fees as well, which I believe is 0.3% on each trade. The program targets a 50% APR. Don't miss this opportunity to support the ecosystem while earning rewards. So again, this is pretty good. If you want to participate in this, you can provide liquidity at BlazeSwap. Another application that is supporting FXRP, again with USDT 0, like I said, a very common theme, because this is the TVL that really matters, stablecoin to highly liquid assets. The farm just opened on SparkDex, and again, if you want to provide liquidity, at the time this was launched, you got 152% APY, and as I'm sure many of you know, these APYs start out very high, but as more people deposit into the pool, the rewards are diluted between more and more people, right? So something to consider there. It's definitely not going to be this high by the time you've watched this video and looked at it, but you can see them, all of the metrics on the farms when you go to their websites. Again, another application that is supporting the rollout of FXRP is Kinetic Markets, and basically you can supply FXRP or USDT0 to a brand new F asset dedicated ISO market. Basically, you provide the collateral and you can loan it out and you get a rebate fee, and that's going to be supported by our FLR as well, the reward flow. So I just want to remind you guys, it has been some tough days in the past. So remember this day very well. It is actually a historic moment and one that I certainly will not forget. Your patience has paid off and the haters have been silenced, and F Assets is finally live. But let me tell you this, the journey is just the beginning. F Assets are just the tip of the iceberg and much brighter days are ahead. So a lot of people have been crying out for F Assets, but let me tell you, this is not the best application or the best functionality that the FLR network will offer. You know, even F Assets, well, you know, I guess broadly speaking, permissioned managed wallets and trusted execution environments are really going to change the game. And this is the hot topic. I know that F Assets has got the limelight for the longest time, and I know that it's just launched, and I'm extremely excited for that, but I'm even more excited for what is yet to come. Of course, you've got all of these different decentralized applications, and it is probably hard and confusing to find out where the best rewards are. If you are interested, please feel free to check the description, and there is a link to the Patreon group where we have just launched the MasterMind group and sent out the invitations. This is a Discord group where I'm going to be relaying my personal strategies on how I'm maximizing yield on the FLR network. You can find it in the pinned chat if you are listening live, or again in the description of the video. Right, this is the actual announcement. We're probably going to rip through this pretty fast because I think most of you watching can get a good idea of what F Assets is all about, but we're gonna just quickly run through here. When? Now. Right, F Assets are live. XRP meets DeFi on FLR. Let me blow this up a little bit so you guys can read, and let's get through this. So, F Assets are now live on FLR mainnet, starting with FXRP version 1.2. With the long-awaited launch of the first F Asset, XRP holders now have the ability to mint FXRP on FLR and start putting XRP to work across FLR in decentralized finance applications. This is the start of XRP DeFi awakening. A quick refresher of F Assets. F Assets are FLR's protocol for turning non-smart contract enabled cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, like XRP, like Dogecoin, like XLM, into assets that can be used in decentralized finance on FLR and beyond. They are one-to-one representations of the original assets. For example, one XRP is redeemable for one FXRP and vice versa, secured through an over-collateralized system of independent agents and secured by FLR's enshrined data protocols, that being the FLR Time Series Oracle and the FLR Data Connector, the FDC. The result? Non-smart contract assets gain access to the full potential of FLR's composable decentralized finance ecosystem, including decentralized exchange trading, lending, stablecoin minting, liquidity staking, and other use cases. And this is actually going to be quite a big use case, I believe, stablecoin minting using XRP as collateral. And this is coming from Enosis. We're going to be hearing more about that in the weeks ahead, I am sure. F Assets are built for composability. Once minted, FXRP can move freely across FLR's DeFi ecosystem. This allows protocols to integrate FXRP directly as a native building block without needing special workarounds. How is FXRP secured? And this is very important because this gives you guys the reassurance that the F asset protocol is trustworthy, watertight, and obviously institutional ready. Security for F assets is an ongoing commitment, not a one-off milestone. The system has already undergone at least 4 independent audits by leading firms such as Zelic and Coinspect, alongside Immunify-powered bug bounties and community-driven reviews like Code Arena. Funny story here, someone in the comments did correct me. I was always saying Code 4 Renner, but I think this is like an old school, like a gamer thing where the 4 represents an A. So from now on, we're pronouncing it Code Arena. I'm going to have to get some confirmation there from someone from the team, but well, let's go with that. Furthermore, the F asset system and DeFi applications on FLR are monitored 24/7 by Hypernative. There is also extensive rapid response and security processes in place. Why so many layers? Because F assets manage high-value, complex operations, trustless bridging, very important, collateral management, and multi-chain minting, where security is non-negotiable. Institutional stakeholders, in particular, demand not only initial assurance, but ongoing verification that the system remains resilient to new threats. So the institutional interest here, Hugo was saying, and we'll get onto that in just a second, that the institutions are not going to participate in F assets or the F asset protocol and putting their FXRP to work or their XRP to work until we have $100 million worth of XRP within the protocol. And this is basically a reassurance to them that this protocol is watertight. Okay, the FLR Foundation will continue to invest in robust, scalable security measures to ensure that F assets uphold the highest standards of safety, trust, and reliability for both institutions and the XRP community. So one of the things that I really like about this is that we're seeing the interest from institutions, but we've got the first mover advantage here, and it's not exclusive. It's not an relationship. It's not just for the institutions. We're getting to participate in what the institutions participate into as well. So happy days. How to acquire and use FXRP. So you can mint this on the apps. I just gave you a quick walkthrough here. Let me just give you a quick overview. This is the dashboard. You basically go to mint F assets and basically mint here, right? But you can't do it right now, again, because I did mention that the cap has actually reached, which is a 5 million FLR reached in just 4 hours. Absolutely crazy. There's also an alternative website from Oracle Daemon, and you can find them over here. I do provide them in a lot of the links to a lot of the videos. Right. There's also very handy guides, and I would say this. I do actually have a playlist on the channel, which is very helpful. It has all of these FLR official guides, and definitely worth watching if you're new to the FLR community and just want to get up to speed with how to interact with this network, how to get the wallets and how to mint F assets, how to delegate, how to stake, all of that good stuff. Okay, swapping on dexes, you know that you can swap on SparkDex, BlazeSwap, and Enosis. I will be creating specific videos on all of these, especially relating to FXRP in the near future, and you can acquire FXRP through Luminite and Oxenflow as well. So here's something that the veterans may be interested in, and this is the incentives at launch. So from my perspective, the RFLR reward system, or the F asset incentive system, has been extremely rewarding in the past. And I think this is a great opportunity to really participate and jump in headfirst and really get to grips with the DeFi on the FLR network, because the APYs can actually be very attractive. Excuse me. Right, so to maximize the impact and ensure sustainable growth, the F assets incentives will be distributed in the form of RFLR, only to DeFi protocols that contribute meaningfully to the total value locked, the TVL, or drive on-chain activity. At launch, FXRP incentives will be directed to the following pools. We've got Kinetic for supplying FXRP, and they're targeting an APR of around 5%. We've got Kinetic FXRP USDT 0. Isolated pool, which is designed to isolate risk with USDT as a primary borrow asset against FXRP. And then you also have these liquidity pools for the decentralized exchanges. You've got SparkDex, you've got BlazeSwap, and you've got Enosis, and their target APR is of 50%. That is absolutely crazy. Now, one thing that I will say about this is that all of these pairs, you've got the FXRP asset, and they're all paired with a stablecoin. Now, what does that mean? It means that you are potentially at risk of impermanent loss if the XRP was to increase rapidly. And let's just say XRP was to double in price and you had, say, $1,000 of XRP and $1,000 of USDT 0. What would happen is your FXRP would decrease and your USDT amount would increase, but you would ultimately lose out if you compare that to just holding all of that value in FXRP. But that could be mitigated, the risk could be mitigated with the idea of having this 50% APR from the RFLR pool. I'll talk a little bit more about this in the MasterMind group. The launch incentives are only the beginning. In the coming weeks, FXRP and STXRP, which is liquid staked XRP powered by Firelight, very highly anticipated decentralized application, will power deeper integrations across the FLR ecosystem. We've got Enosis loans to look forward to, CDP, which is collateralized debt position loans for XRP used as collateral, will be enabled, FXRP will be enabled as collateral and will earn RFLR. And there's also a stability pool as well. Sorry, I kind of read that a bit weird. Right, you've got yield markets, which are going to be launching soon, incentivized liquidity pools for PTs, and select vaults with staked XRP positioned at as the main deposit asset. You've got curated vaults for seamless management of yield generating strategies, and I think both of these are going to come from Firelight. Once Firelight launches and staked XRP becomes available, the full XRP flywheel will accelerate, engaging more ecosystem partners, expanding collateral options, and driving new layers of utility for XRP on FLR. So this is particularly going to be a pivotal moment once Firelight launches, because all of these incentives here, I think FLR will be also incentivizing them with RFLR, but also with staked XRP. So right now you have FXRP, and what you're going to be able to do when Firelight launches is convert that into staked XRP. And this is going to be a liquid staked token. And some of you may be familiar with SFLR, staked FLR through the Scepter protocol. And it allows you to own an asset that is generating a yield. And that yield, I believe, is going to be between 4 and 7%. But then on top of that, you're going to be able to use that staked XRP, which is earning that yield, to generate even more of a yield. So imagine these pools staked XRP to USDT 0 in SparkDex or BlazeSwap or Enosis, right? So this is where it becomes very powerful, and the strategies almost get another layer of depth. Right, that's the end of the document, I believe. We're going to carry on with some of the news here. This is a big one, right? A lot of people are saying, a lot of people are asking me, I just minted my FXRP. What do I do with it now? So I want to be very clear here. Before you mint XRP, you have to have a reason you want to mint XRP. And you need to identify this reason before you do it, right? You don't... You know, it's putting the cart before the horse, right? You do not mint and then look for a reason why you minted. You look for the reason why you want to mint, and then you mint. So the reason that you may want to mint is to participate in the FLR ecosystem using your XRP to generate a yield. And as I said before, put your sunglasses on, please. You can find all of the reasons why you may want to do this right here. You should identify this reason before you bring XRP onto FLR. Then you bring XRP onto FLR, and then you execute your idea, right? Participate in Kinetic, borrow and lend it, or provide liquidity in SparkDex, Anosis, or BlazeSwap. They're pretty much the options right now. And of course, we're going to have more options once we see Firelight launch. One does not simply mint FXRP and then look for a reason why. You find the reason why before. Right, moving on here. We got this from Hugo. 4 million X FXRP, or $12 million US. And he's really proud to say that this is the fastest that any XRP product has grown. So there is absolutely huge demand for FXRP. And we can see that in the fact that the minting cap has been reached, right? I'm sure we're going to see an increase of the minting cap. I'm not sure what it might be. It may be another 5 million. In terms of XRP. Let me just go here really quick. It could be another 5 million XRP, like it could double, or maybe they're going to be a bit more aggressive. We're just going to have to wait, but I think it is going to be about a week until we see that. Right, this is the blueprint, right? You already know the blueprint, and I posted this last month, right, in August. F assets launch on the FLR network. That's step one. And then we see the first wave of institutions that start earning yield on their XRP through Firelight. Then we're going to have institutional FOMO, and that's where we're going to see numerous treasury companies start to join the party. So there are a number of different XRP treasury companies, or DATs, and yeah, they're going to be wanting to earn some sort of yield on their XRP, right? So it seems like, you know, once we get the ball rolling and the flywheel spinning, I think we will see increased adoption from institutions. And right now we have the advantage because we're able to deploy our capital in a way that is very efficient. We don't have to build systems and processes to be able to do that, because we're not a company and we're not talking about millions of dollars. Well, maybe some of you are in the audience there, but certainly not me. So the laggards are forced to adopt to remain competitive and provide users or investors with yield income. And for this, I'm particularly referring to exchanges, right? We've got crypto.com that is very interested. We've got Uphold that is very interested. They want to put their war chest of XRP to use and pass that on to their users to get more users using their platform, right? It's a big incentive, and you would be silly not to do this. Obviously, they need to see the test of time with this F asset protocol to prove that their capital is not at risk. But as we know, F assets is a bridge like none other. There's never been a bridge that has launched in such a way, a trustless bridge. And a lot of people actually, just on a bit of a tangent here, a lot of people say, wow, we've been waiting so long for F assets. And that's because it's the very first. And if it was easy to do, you would see F assets launch. If it was just a copy paste, you would have seen it launched many years ago. The reason that it took so long is because it's a very novel idea. So you could say the same with anything, blockchain technology. Everyone waited from the beginning of time until blockchain technology was invented through Satoshi with Bitcoin until it was there. And then smart contracts. Everyone waited from the beginning of time until smart contracts launched until it was available. And it's the same with a trustless bridge. So yes, it has been a long time coming, but definitely worth the wait. And it is a bridge that is very unique and only possible because of the native data protocols that are launched on FLR and part of the network itself, enshrined into the network. Right, continuing here. Earning yield on XRP becomes the industry standard, and no longer is it a dormant asset powered by FLR. So obviously right now, XRP is a dormant asset. It's not generating a yield because it's not a proof of stake network. And, you know, that in itself has its own benefits. It's not an inflationary token, but there are ways now through, for example, the FLR network, that XRP can becoming a yield-bearing asset, and that's a great attractive opportunity for those who hold a lot of XRP. So what does this mean for you as a holder of FLR? The total value locked, the TVL, will skyrocket, and we've already seen this very large percent increase just in the past, 12 hours since we've launched, less than that. The FLR collateral requirement skyrockets, and the FLR supply shock begins, because FLR is used as collateral, which means for these institutions to be able to bring this XRP onto the FLR network, a lot of FLR needs to be locked up. The price, well, you know that I don't make price predictions, but you can make your own out there. All I'm saying is that you are in the right place at the right time, and that's before the institutions begin to realize just how special the FLR network is. Right, this is something I thought was pretty interesting. We've got this here from Hugo. 100 million is the minimum amount that institutions want to get involved with. So that is a large amount. We've got this. Hugo, ideally, where are we in 6 months? More or less than 1 billion. Hugo says easily 1 billion with some headwinds. So, we know that we have institutions like Vivo Power that are committing 100 million towards participating in the F asset system. So they do have a huge war chest of XRP. I believe they are also utilizing that in other networks, but I think the lion's share is with the FLR network. Right, I thought this was pretty funny actually, because I did put this video out a couple of weeks ago saying that everything points to a September launch. F assets are closer than you think, and in this video I was saying, I'm so confident that I have 5,000 FLR on the line. Yeah, $100, some people were turning their nose up at that, but better than nothing, right? And the hate that I got in the comments was pretty interesting. It just goes to show that patience does pay. And when people get down and they get bored and they get frustrated with the price, that's the time that you want to be paying attention. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But those who have hanged in with the FLR community, over the past, say, 3, 4, 5 months, I'm sure you've enjoyed the price action. Right. We got this, Hugo, 4 million, 12 million US dollars. I'm really proud to say that this is the fastest. In fact, I've actually already gone through this. So that is the stream. That is the news for today. Pretty crazy. And yeah, I'll turn my attention to the comments here if anyone has anything to ask. It's been a crazy, crazy day. I'm sure you will agree. Hey, we've got who's in the chat here. Nice to see you, brother. So we'll get some tunes on. Let's see if any of you guys have any questions about which applications you can use, or how to interact with certain applications, all of that good stuff. Let me know. What do you think about today? I thought it was pretty spicy, but as I said, I think this is just the start of much greater things to come. XRP or TILs? How to move FXRP from Songbird to FLR? Well, there's not actually a bridge from Songbird to FLR, so it would be a process of redeeming your FXRP on the Songbird network and getting it back on the ledger, or the XRP ledger, and then re-minting it on the FLR network. So you're going to have to go through redeem it and then remint. King Karan in the chat. Nice to see you, brother. I do appreciate you. I know you've been putting out a lot of FLR content recently, and it's been great. And I know, very humbly, you've been giving me shout outs as well. So I do respect that. Mickey C. So as of right now, we can't mint any XRP. No, it's true. You can't mint because the threshold has been reached, 5 million XRP. Now, you could possibly mint if someone redeems, but, I don't see any reason why anyone would be redeeming. We got Scott, which apps are available for yield? You can find them all here at the bottom of the F asset portal, so. Bamboo XRP, yes, the minting cap has been reached, 5 million XRP. The cap will be increasing in about a week, so stay tuned. Oh, who's with a 10 squid donation? Thank you very much. Wow, it's been, I think it's been half a year since I've received Super Chat. Very much appreciated, brother. What are you looking forward to most? More F assets, PMWs, or possibly AI data? And I did actually hear your enthusiastic response earlier in the X space, and I think I'm in the same boat as you. Permissioned managed wallets and trusted execution environments. These two together are going to be extremely powerful because it's going to allow the FLR network to be the hub of everything. You're going to be able to use applications where you're basically interacting with the FLR network, but maybe you can execute complex strategies on other chains, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever it may be. And this essentially abstracts the complexity of having to interact with multiple chains by just having this one hub. The FLR network, you register your account just on one network. You don't have to learn how to integrate with all of these other applications. You can perform transactions on them just from FLR, and this is the future that I think FLR, the vision that the FLR team have. Marvin, they need to increase the mint cap now. I need to mint. Mo. Yeah, well, it's just a security precaution. I think they want to be as safe as possible, and you know, they're probably analyzing a lot of the data right now from this huge event, this huge rush to mint F assets, and that rush is extremely incredible because it shows high demand, right? We got Crypto Clay. Is Ripple allowed to put any of the escrow XRP to work on FLR to earn a yield? Definitely not, because once an asset is escrowed on the XRP ledger, it's not able to be used in any way until the escrow is unlocked. And as you know, Ripple have a sort of a rolling escrow where each month, I think 1 billion gets unlocked. And from there, once it has been unlocked, yes, they do I guess gain the option to use that XRP within FLR if they see fit, but they can't utilize escrowed XRP because that's, I guess, in a roundabout way, it's off the market. It's not available. Alex Yeet holding FLR since the first airdrop. Ooh, going back a little bit there. 2021 maybe? 2022? I don't know. It's been a while. Scott is asking which app has the lowest risk for yield available today, in my opinion. So let me just tell you this, right? So I think it's a good question. We go down here. This is the F asset portal. Scroll to the bottom. You've got Kinetic, Blaze. Kinetic is a little bit of a different beast here. These are all where you're providing liquidity. And as I said, once you've got these pairs in a liquidity pool, you do have the risk of running into impermanent loss. Now, just to caveat that, impermanent loss is like a 0.5 leverage trade, right? So if the price of XRP was to go up, you would miss out on 50% of that gain. But on the flip side, just to be balanced here, if the price was to go down, you would lose half of the value. So, you know, let's say, for example, you have $100 in XRP and XRP halved. You would have $50 worth of XRP, right? You would lose 50%. Now, if you had that $100 in this pool, which is $50 of XRP and $50 worth of USDT, and the price of XRP halved, you would actually only lose $25. This liquidity pool would be worth $75 compared to if you was just holding XRP and it went down 50%, you'd only have $50 worth of assets. So it goes both ways. You know, just as a high level strategy, I would recommend, you know, if you feel like the price is topping and you're looking to exit of a particular asset, let's say XRP, it could be worth mitigating that risk by joining a liquidity pool with a stablecoin, because you will lose half of the value as the price decreases if it pulls back. Maybe a bit of a convoluted way to explain that, but I'll probably summarize it better in the MasterMind group. Avid Traveler, I grabbed my FXRP before thinking about what to do with it. You always need to have the idea first, my friend. Wally S, same as the launch for Songbird, the people in Asian time zones, most of the strongest XRP supporters globally, definitely, wake up to see people in Europe and the US have taken all the cap and all the rewards. Yeah, it is a hard one because obviously we are a global community, but at the same time, you can only launch at once. What would be the alternative? Launch a cap of 2.5 million at one time, and then 12 hours later launch another 2.5 cap. It is possible, but it is not the end of the day. I mean, it's the end of the day for me. It's getting a little bit late, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, because there's going to be cap increases. And I think Hugo was talking about this as well. He was saying that these institutions are not crazy about having this, having access to these 100 of these triple digit APYs, because they know that as soon as they come and they start depositing XRP, the APYs are actually going to be going down considerably. Yeah, so, well, Hugo is from the West. I think he's in Dubai, Middle East. I'm not sure what the time zones are there, but obviously I'm in the UK. Okay, guys. Well, how long have we been streaming for? A good amount. You guys got any more questions? I will say though, if you did enjoy the stream, please feel free to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, I do all these live streams and whatnot and various videos all the time, just to keep you guys up to date. And of course, we have the MasterMind group as well for, I guess, advanced strategies. But just know that if you are watching on YouTube, a lot of the tutorials are going to be free. The MasterMind group is for those who want to get a little bit more involved and have access to various strategies, right? That may be a little bit more complicated, but all of the guidance on how to use applications is always going to be free, so you've got nothing to worry about there. We've got Reg here saying right now, yes, soon Dogecoin and Bitcoin. Yeah, Dogecoin and Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is very low-hanging fruit in terms of F assets, but these assets are probably not going to be anytime soon, because these are going to come from F assets version 2. So right now we've just seen the rollout of F assets version 1.2, and this is actually XRP exclusive. So just bear that in mind. I know this is going to be the big next when question. When Bitcoin, when Dogecoin, when F assets v2. I'm going to be looking forward to that, but yeah, it's probably going to be at least a couple of months. I'm saying just sit back, enjoy the moment, relish in the launch of the F assets version 1.2 that has just launched, and unlocking the ability for those holding XRP to start earning a yield. That's already a huge untapped market, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just circling back to something here though, just had a thought. So let's go to this one here from Hugo. Talking about institutions. So, these institutions, it's very interesting, because I still feel that the XRP treasury companies are still very nascent, right? There's a lot of scope there to grow, where if you compare that to the Bitcoin equivalent with MicroStrategy and was it MetaPlanet and all of these huge institutions that are accumulating Bitcoin at a very fast rate, we're seeing that also, I guess, a trend where there's a lot of Ethereum treasury companies coming to fruition. And I still feel like XRP is behind the ball here, but that just means that there's a lot of potential for growth. And, we're seeing these early institutional adoption, early institutions that are adopting XRP as a treasury, definitely paying an interest in the FLR network. And, he's talking about a 1 billion TVL here. I think this is just skimming the surface, Hugo did say that he does want to have 5% of XRP, the circulating supply. So that would be 5 billion XRP, which obviously translates to, I guess at the time of the price here, somewhere around $15 billion worth. onto the FLR network. And if the yields can be sustainable, then I can't see any reason why that wouldn't happen. You know, if we go back to the this post here, they are targeting a 50%. Let's scroll down a little bit. Where are we? They are targeting an APR of 50%. So this is actually going to be fluctuating, but you know, this is not going to be 50% once the institutions come in, right? Institutions are very happy with 1% above inflation, 2% above inflation, right? These crazy APYs to set the base, right? Set the foundation for us guys, for the retail investors to lay the foundation, test the waters before the institutions come in. Once the institutions come in with millions of dollars, these APYs are going to be reduced quite heavily. So this is why now is the moment to really participate and get involved and make the most of the yields that you can earn before that time comes. Johnny LV, so I see that you are a FLR member, so there will be no MasterMind YouTube videos. So there will be exclusive videos for Patreon and YouTube members. But the MasterMind is basically a group on Discord where we'll be doing live streams, kind of like this, Q&A, but it's going to be a lot more intimate, which is going to allow me to basically walk through the applications on a more individual level. And I'm also going to be specifically talking about strategy there. So here on YouTube, we're going to be doing, like I said before, there's going to be a lot of guides and news that I'm going to share with the community, and that's always going to be free. It's not going to be gate locked in any sense. But the more, if you want to get a little bit more involved, the MasterMind group would be the place to do that. And again, you can find a link in the description. And if you are a YouTube member, you know, check the recent announcements because the invitations have gone out and you can probably find a link to it if you haven't already joined. Okay, guys, you know what? I think I'm going to wrap there. We've been streaming for about 48 minutes. It could potentially be the longest stream that I've ever done, actually. You know, I know we used to do the live streams quite a bit, and it's actually been quite fun. I think marking this historic moment, the launch of F assets, it needed to be done. And yeah, you guys are in the right place at the right time. We've been here through thick and thin. I recognize a lot of familiar names in the chat that have been through these rough times with me, but it seems like we have bright days ahead, not just with F assets. I mean, we've also got permission managed wallets, or protocol managed wallets, sorry, and trusted execution environments as well. And yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, the next things that you can look forward to, or the next breaking news, is probably going to be related to Firelight. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Again, basically turbocharging the yields, and you can expect tutorials from that, and you know, ways in which you can maximize the yield. So stay tuned, guys. Lock in, as they say. Thank you all so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you have not already. Do have yourself an incredible day. And until next time, I'm out.
We have liftoff.